population are the youth below the ages of 35.
Baba, unajua wewe ni mtu mwenye maono sana. Wewe unaona mbali. Kitu yenye watu wa UDA wataona leo, wewe uliona last year. Kwa sababu saa hii ndio wanakaa wanasema ati Ruto na Gachagua waongee ati watafutie mama nafasi ati akuwe deputy president. Baba tayari alipatia wa mama deputy president 2022. Na hata haikumaliza siku moja tayari Rigathi ameruka anasema hapana.
But even as we try to address these challenges as stakeholders, as parents, as teachers, we must continue to remind the government. We must continue to remind the government to be truthful. The Kenya Kwanza government must be truthful. Because they keep on saying that they have released capitation money. Every now and then we hear the Cabinet Secretary for Education declaring on national television that they have released so much billions of shillings towards capitation. And yet, when you come to the ground here, there is no money.
Odinga's AUC position, however, hangs in the balance as hurdles present themselves with different proposals being fronted that could see him out of the race. The first one being locking anyone who comes from a nation that has presented either a deputy or a chair from running, and another one being making the race for the AUC in 2025 just a women race excluding men. Brian Amuai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
That is the story then. So if you look at the Daily Nation this morning, the gentlemen were already foreseeing that Raila Odinga essentially is going to be leaving the local politics, in as much as the leadership of the ODM party is concerned. They've stood up and they've started their campaigns. 1, Wycliffe Oparanya. 2, Hassan Joho. They have come up now and they're saying, well, this is us. And if you look at the Daily Nation this morning, if you can, Sheila, then show us that particular newspaper, you will see how majority of those gentlemen then have had their support on their sides. On the Oparanya camp, we do have Edwin Sifuna, Dr. Oburu Oginga Odinga, we do have Opio Wandanyi, Timothy Bosire, Simbarati, and Elsie Muhanda, currently as it is. Also, on the other side, for Joho, we do have Yunet Mohammed, John Badi, Babo Wino, Ledama Olekina, Stewart Mazayo, and Fatma Masito, essentially then saying that indeed we think Joho is going to be our leader in ODM. Status quo, that's where it is. But then, just before I introduce our guest into the studio as well this morning, there's one man somewhere who, in some way, we're not mentioning at all. And even in this particular conversation, he's not come up to speak about the leadership of ODM because he's counting on it to be president in a 2027 or improve his chances. One, Kalonzo Musyoka. Why are we not talking about him in this conversation? And does it look like already is a forgotten man in that question for presidency come 2027? But at this time then, let me introduce Joyce to the conversation. Joyce, you're going to open us to this conversation. And by the way, good morning.
Good morning to members of Lookuptv, Ramadan Kareem to the Muslim families. Before I go into the topic of the day, Elijah allowed me to pass some greetings to you from a school in my village called Magumu High School, Boys High School. Last week we celebrated the women on 8th of March. And in my village this week we are celebrating the boys because they performed exemplary well in 2023. And we went to celebrate their success, and they mentioned you, Elijah, as a mentor. This week they are planning to plant about 2,000 trees. They would love that if you could join them for a goat. That school is only about 45 minutes away from here. So once you're free, Elijah, kindly us with me so that let's go and celebrate the success of boys.
We shall be there.
Magumu boys.
Yes,
We appreciate the teachers and the students, and also the BOM fraternity. On the topic that you've hit, it's getting out to be a bit tricky. Way back before the general elections 2022, we saw again the same division in ODM, whereby we had Maina Wajigi on one side and Raila on the other side. This time around, again, we are seeing the rights of Oparanya and Joho. And I'm saying, I'm not a prophet of doom, but I'm seeing a start of division for a huge party, the ODM party. Why? Look at the divisions that the persons who are supporting the two candidates. They are going to split the party right in the middle. And when they split the party right in the middle, it is going to complicate affairs, particularly for ODM.
Yes.
And it's also going to make it a bit easier for other parties now to loop into the fallouts. So I would pray that my brothers, that they tread carefully when it comes to this issue. It is a hot potato on the table now.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray for the wise leadership of Baba to intervene. Of course, it's within the democratic rights for these two Kenyans to vie for that position, but it will be tricky for the ODM party. You've mentioned the other hidden force. This is the Wiper party leader. This is Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, whom you say that is the unseen picture, but I think he's the larger shadow than the ODM. Why? In the Wiper party, there is no antagonism in the party. They are willing to front their candidate. It's only that the Daily Nation today is capturing the ODM. But when we delve into that matter, I think Kalonzo will bring them down. Thank you, Elijah.
We're going to come back to that. Proper introduction. Eric from a Joyce this morning is saying, well, she's reading a division within that particular part. Like they have to tread it around this particular issue carefully. Let me start like this. I mean, the approach from Oparanya and Joho, is this something that Raila should allow? As in, you have two men within that particular party who've already announced we're going to start nationwide campaigns as we look forward to party elections, and if that comes, then we shall be getting support within the party. Is it ever okay to have two men within a party already galvanizing support to go for the leadership of that particular party?
Thank you, Simba, and good morning to our viewers. It's a good Monday. There is actually a lot of traffic today.
Yes, sir.
I guess that's why one of the panelists, I can see from the screen one of the chairs is waiting for the panelist. I'm not sure whether that's an indicator of a good economy. It seems everyone has removed their vehicles from their yards, including even jalopies. On Thika Road, there are a lot of jalopies stalled on the road. You know, you have some money and you have a vehicle of KA something. It's the time now to take it on the road. So maybe it's a good indicator that things are working. Mm-hmm. But be that as it may, I am intrigued by the politics happening in ODM, mm-hmm. specifically in what the Daily Nation today pits Joho against Oparanya. Mm-hmm. Curiously, the side of Joho has John Buddy, and it has Junet Mohammed. The trio was accused of destroying and mismanaging the 2022 general elections. In fact, it was alleged that part of the money that was supposed to go to the agents was consumed by the trio. And so it is not surprising that they find themselves in the same camp. But curiously though, is the Joho's absence and his presence now that Raila's stab at AUC, you know, has come to the fore. we have not seen Joho in action for a long while. In fact, some time back he issued a statement and he said that he has accepted, he cannot fight government. He has accepted that, William is the president and they should move on. Joho, it reminds me of a certain folklore that we used to hear of a race between the hare and a chameleon. And the chameleon would always challenge the hare that, he could win a race. And it was determined that on the day of the race, the winner would be determined by who sat on the chair first. And the chameleon, being mischievous, allowed Oparanya to run the race and run the race. But when it came to sitting down, it would appear that the chameleon, who is Joho, was all along holding on to the hare's tail. And so when it came to sitting down, now the chameleon, who is Joho, is saying, hey, wait, I am the one who was here first. And therefore, despite all the hard work done by Oparanya, including, he's facing several court cases. He's been on the campaign trail with Baba. He ate tear gas with Baba. And then Joho, the slay of coast politics, is now here. And he's now claiming that he wants to inherit Baba. In fact, at some quarters, I heard him say he's envisaging himself now to be the president of the republic. Yeah. And you remember, it's not far-fetched. You remember he was supposed to be the CS for lands would azimio have taken power. Yes. So I want to watch and see how this turns out. But what I like about Joho, nevertheless, is the fact that for him, he has hit the ground running. He's deploying resources to start campaigns. I don't know what he's campaigning for. But at the same time,
get support ahead of the party primaries.
Absolutely. But at the same time, you must not ignore Oparanya. He has some big wigs on his side. He has Raila's brother on his side. That is not someone you can easily ignore. Yes. You saw Raila's wife, Ida Odinga, is it Her Excellency or Right Honorable? I'm not sure what the correct title is. You saw her endorsing Junet Mohammed, who is in Joho's camp. So I think even in terms of a family affair, it's an intriguing battle to watch. I know Ida for a fact is very influential. I'm not sure how Raila's brother influence Wade's. Joyce might tell us from that camp whether he's as powerful as he seemed to be or perceived to be. But you cannot ignore Oparanya, especially when it comes to the Western Bloc. He is a force to reckon with. He can pull numbers. He can marshal numbers. He has no slay tendencies. He's a solid man, solid credentials. He has been planning minister some time back. Yes, and that planning ministry has had people like Anyang' Nyong'o. So I think it's a good battle to watch. Being a staunch Kenya Kwanza supporter, I am happy to see the duel on the other side. I am not purporting to be a referee, but I am.
Are you a neutral in this?
No, I'm not necessarily neutral.
Are you enjoying what is going on in the party now?
I'm enjoying the fights. What I am asking is that they give us a few bottles of water, because it's about to get interesting.
That's it. I'll be coming to you on that, on where Kalonzo is in this particular conversation.
Yes.
Joyce, let's begin like this then. Raila Odinga again speaking last week when he was speaking about the ability of Joho and the ability of one Oparanya to lead ODM. He again said that both of them can lead that particular party, pitting them against each other. Should have we allowed that? Should have we said that? Is it ever okay for Raila Odinga to allow Joho and Oparanya to go at each other when Raila Odinga has not even left that particular position to go start campaigning for the AUC chair job?
Both Joho and Oparanya are deputy party leaders. So in essence, in his absence, we cannot leave that seat vacant. The leadership of Kenya Kwanza is happy through Eric here that we'll find ourselves throwing swords. But even before we start throwing swords, Raila finds himself in a very delicate position. Kenyans can attest between the two, Oparanya and Joho. They can do a checklist between these two Kenyans and see who can lead the party. So what Baba is doing, he's throwing the ball to the public. He do not want to predetermine the position of the party leader.
What would be ideal? Because if you pick a party leader within the Azimio coalition, I mean, it changes party politics. This candidate you're going to pick has the potential of becoming the Kenyan president in 2027. I mean, Raila would be the best fit to know that the majority party within the Azimio coalition is ODM. So when it comes to making decisions with the coalition, I mean, it's going to go away. So you got to pick a strong candidate to represent the party.
That will only happen when the party concludes its party primaries. And I think he's only preparing the ground.
Yes.
But strong here to consider is the credentials and the strengths of these two persons. I do not want to delve into what my brother Eric insinuated. But I look at Oparanya, for instance. This is a person who have been tested by public leadership for a long time. Even before he became the governor, Kakamega. He held positions in the leaderships for like about 30 years. This is a person who has a huge wealth of knowledge in terms of public administration. Then he gets his 10 years again in leadership of Kakamega County. Kakamega County is written among us the best of red counties in terms of so much that need to be dealt with. On the other side, we have a young man. I would call him for all purposes a young man, who is loved by the young and the women, and some women actually, but not all, who have not had national leadership positions.
Yes. But he comes from a county where the party enjoys majority support.
He comes from a county that party today does not enjoy the support. Why? In this county, we have leadership of very strong leadership of Kenya Kwanza, including Aisha Jumwa, including the CS of Blue Economy. So where he comes from today have been diluted by other factors. When the ODM was strong and when the Azimio coalition was doing its campaign, they zoned out regions whereby the strength of each person was hugely affected. Go to Coast Province, for instance. The population, the majority of the population in that place happens to be from Eastern Kenya, the lower Eastern Kenya to be precise. So it's not about Joho coming from Mombasa, I mean the Coast Province. The Coast Province has huge pockets of the Kikuyu in the Ramu area, have huge pockets of the Kabas around Chagamo area, the upper Mombasa. So today Joho, the strengths of Joho in the Coastal Province today have been diluted by the entrance of now other persons. We have persons like Adu Awiti, who is in Mombasa today and who is a RUTO. So again, Awiti rises more side of the Oparanya side than Joho. So today, the ODM factors pockets have been deeply infiltrated by other parties now. So the strengths we had in prior to 2022 today, the same situation, and if it was replicated, then Joho would fight it very, very hard. I'm not a prophet of doom, but I see whereby Kenyans today want to punish leaders for the wrongs and the ills that they did. My brother Eric, he said very, very strong issues that were silently kept under the carpet of the mismanagement of the 2022 general elections by 3 Kenyans, and it is in the public domain. So again, the 3 Kenyans are here, including that candidate himself, Joho, trying to say that they want the party leadership. Kenyans have not forgotten that scenario. Oparanya, were it not for the cases that he's finding himself in the courts of law, and of course he's going to manage. These are issues that the Kenya Kwanza government have issues with the strong persons If they feel that you are stronger than them, they'll hit you. Look at Barara for once, who formed the Pentagon team in Mombasa. He's in court today of issues of, again, of public embezzlement of funds. So this issue of Oparanya will pass. And I think this is the message Eric should send to his friends in the Kenya Kwanza government, that much as you would want to divide this party, the ODM party, I'm not a member of the ODM party, but as I'm a fan of this ODM party, it will not work. The only threat here we fight is the Kenya Kwanza government on the ODM leadership. Side to it, we have now other parties that are coming up, are getting more stronger by the day. Look at Peter Munya, for instance. We have an issue with Mother Karua and Jeremiah Kioni. Peter Munya is coming in to fill that vacuum that have been left by the two, by the Jubilee Party and Sidena Kenya. So I think ODM today, need to consolidate its force. Baba, because you are listening, Kaidre walk, this is a tightrope that you are dealing with, of youngsters made of Joho, who immediately after the 2022 general elections took off to US.
Yes.
We only saw him last year when the Coastal Caucus group had a cup of tea with the leadership of Kenya Kwanza. And you know what he was bargaining for? He wanted back his SGR business. He was not there for leadership positions. Baba then gets endorsed for the AUC position. Joho now jumps. I write the story that my brother from the other mother have sold of the chameleon and the hare. This is an opportunist. Joho is an opportunist who is willing to milk on what other people's efforts have been. Members of ODM, if you're listening, Kaidre know that Oparanya, you have a reader in Oparanya who've been tested and tried for a long time.
Pretty much. I'll be coming back to you, Eric. The other Eric is here. I've got to say hi to him. Pagalo, how are you doing, sir?
He's the exemplification of a good economy.
Every time you're not here in good time.
I've been listening.
Every time you're not here in good time. This guy says, Ragalo should come here and tell us how the economy is performing okay. Every Kenyan's car is on the road this morning. Yeah?
Including Ragalos.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very well.
Yes.
And I've listened to their deliberation, and I'm glad to hear someone say Joho is an opportunist. I've already had that thought many times. So is Junet. Junet is not there for Raila. He's there for himself and his own businesses.
Raila doesn't think so, though.
How do you know?
Yes, defended him over and over again. Even in the latest attack, he's
Raila will
defended
defend you, even if you are being roasted. He will still defend you.
Yes.
Yes.
But Raila is the leader of ODM, as we do know.
Yeah, but you know Junet is not there for Raila.
Yes.
Junet sold us.
But Raila doesn't think so.
Yeah, Raila doesn't think so.
So what?
But other party members know.
So what are we advising Raila?
To find the truth for people.
Yes.
Especially, I'll give you an example. In the same Mount Kenya we're talking about, how many people have Raila held hand, and the same people came to abuse him thoroughly.
True.
Mwaura was a non-entity, was a nothing in 2007. When Mwaura's name was being slotted to be nominated, there was push and pull over the list. We had very numerous lists that imeenda. Then there's a time Mwaura's name was not even there. So we had to push Anyang' Nyong'o. Like, meet Anyang' Nyong'o and tell Anyang' Nyong'o, hapa lazima utupatie.
Yes.
So Mwaura was actually helped by Anyang' Nyong'o through Baba. Okay? Then Anyang' Nyong'o was the Secretary General of ODM. So your name is taken by the Secretary General of ODM. So Anyang' Nyong'o gave Mwaura the job, obviously, through Raila's acknowledgement. But the same Mwaura was the first person to abuse Raila. I'll tell you things like something like that. How does that happen?
Can you put it on politics?
It is not politics.
Is it not politics?
It is being selfish.
Is a politics not just an opportunity?
Politics. It's not politics. Now,
Yes.
there's a difference between politics
Yes.
and being selfish. Mora selfishly left Uhuru. The guy who even gave him State House to do a wedding. Who does a wedding in State House? Even Uhuru himself didn't do a wedding in State House. And remember, he was a son of the king. Mora actually used State House loans as unasikianga ile unaenda na bibi yako akawa amevaa gown. How close to the heart of Uhuru was Mora? Only for him to go to Mombasa and even abuse Mama Ngina. So is that's not opportunism? So are the others. Joho, immediately after election, we were here complaining, making noise. We prepared maandamano and everything.
Yes.
And our team came together to chart its way.
Yes.
So that is the time Joho got sick for 1 whole 2 years. 1 whole year. Mara Joho is in America for treatment. What was he suffering from that is not managed in Nairobi Hospital?
What did
I would say Nairobi Hospital because he has good insurance.
Yeah.
So what was he suffering from that Raila, who goes to Nairobi Hospital, he couldn't go?
Did you want him to participate in the
I
demos?
wanted him to participate, yes. Was Oparanya not there?
But he's never
Was Oparanya
yes.
not as a party leader like him?
But
he's
never spoken against
Did he
the
ever
demos.
spoke? No. Did he ever even speak about anything politics for 1 year?
But never spoke against the demos.
He will not speak because he's balancing a question. So he balancing equation knows that if this goes this way, I'm okay. This goes this way, I'm okay. So when he realizes things are not working for ODM in totality, I mean in quotes, he started dilly-dallying with the Kenya Kwanza. Until such a point in time, there were rumors that Joho is, they have agreed with RUTO. There were so many rumors. And even my brother Eric told me, Joho anaenda. I told him, Joho alienda kitambo, si ati anaenda. Then, all of a sudden, now Raila is going to get a seat in AU. Now you can see Joho, Babu,
Yes.
Junet. Actually, Junet and Joho, they are not good people. They are not good people.
But Raila Odinga, but Rakalo, you keep on going back to they're not good people.
They
but
are
the
not.
party, but the
Actually,
party,
Joho does not
Yes.
even hold sway of the coast.
Yes.
The coast will have its own person later, but not Joho. He doesn't hold the sway of the coast. He doesn't.
Raila Odinga, this is what Raila Odinga says.
Raila holds the
Yes.
sway of the coast, not Joho.
Pretty much. Raila Odinga says this, that both Joho and Oparanya have what it takes
Yeah,
to
but
lead
if
the
you
party.
if you balance Joho, Joho comes after Oparanya.
In what respect?
Yeah, like we are not equal, though we are in the same position. So if you ask me
The
quantum
leadership-
question, I'll tell you Raila,
Yes.
then Oparanya,
Yes.
then Joho.
The-
Not that Joho Oparanya, no.
Yes. The leadership credentials for one Joho, and when you pit him against Oparanya, they've held the same positions for quite some time now.
But
It's
what
the
has Joho
second
done
time.
for the party? Oparanya has done so much for the party. Look at the performance of Oparanya in Western Province. How many MPs does Mudavadi have? For you to know who Oparanya is. How many MPs does Wetangula have?
Yes.
Actually, Wetangula has 1 governor and around 3 MPs. Now, Mudavadi doesn't even have a governor and actually I think 2 MPs. Okay? Who brought the others? Look at Kakamega County itself. How many MPs did Oparanya lose? 2 of them, around 12 MPs. Only 2. Okay? And even ODM lost, and where ODM lost, they actually gained. I'll give you like ODM lost in Mumias, where Salasia is. It was ODM constituency, but it still became azimio constituency. So did ODM lose? Yes or no? So I'm telling you, Oparanya's performance. Let's go to Mudavadi. Tumshukishe kama a governor, because he's even bigger than the governor. His Vihiga County, his own constituency. Did he win? Sabatia. Is he even the governor seat? So I'm telling you, you ask me, Oparanya is number 1. So come to coast.
Yes.
Did Joho perform? He went bullying other people To an extent, they ran away. He was bullying them. They ran away. That's how Wiper took Taveta. Okay? We actually lost because of Joho. Some of these places we lost because of Joho, by bullying other people by force. And if you ask me what will happen in the next election, Joho will find his own roads. And I can tell you without batting an eyelid, Joho will join RUTO. He's just there doing his calculation, but he's not an honest man. He can never be.
Eric, but I don't know why you're watching this from what perspective now that Kenya Kwanza has been framed as a coercing ODM members. I mean, Raila Amolo Odinga last weekend did say, actually this weekend, I don't know why I'm saying last weekend, did say that both Oparanya and Joho have what it takes to be the leaders of ODM. That Raila Amolo Odinga is okay for this gentleman to campaign within the party to get their support, that in the event that he leaves, and he has actually said, I'm not leaving, I'm still here, either of them can take up the party leadership. So why is Joyce and Ragalo saying, well, Joho is not good?
First, let me say that I am not really glad that there is storm in paradise.
Eric, are you sure? Eric, are you sure?
But what I can say is that we need to sit back, relax, grab some popcorns and enjoy. Because the whole ODM thing is, the chicken is coming home to roost. But be that as it may, I think this is the challenge that has bedeviled ODM for a long time. That when it comes to making critical decisions, they tend to bank on the wrong people. It is like, which is okay, which is actually, in my own opinion, as a competitor, it's okay. You know, someone say, do not interrupt your enemies when they are making a mistake. And so even for Kenya Kwanza, I do not think this time they want to meddle in ODM affairs, because then that would be interrupting them and they are already making mistakes. I think it is important for us to allow them to get to a point where they make the mistake until a point where they make Joho their party leader to replace the what's the title for our Prime Minister? Right Honorable
Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yes, Raila Odinga. I think it's important for us to sit back and watch this unfold to the extent that Joho becomes, you know, I am watching that Joho becomes the party leader after Raila Odinga.
Yes.
That is my desire.
Then are you also sharing the same sentiment that Joho would not be the right person for that particular position?
No, I'm not saying Joho would not be the right.
Just hold on, Eric. Stop confusing yourself.
I'm not saying Joho would not be the right person.
Well, are you saying that is the right person?
I am saying I hope that ODM in their calculations make Joho the ultimate party leader, because that will be the beginning of the end of ODM. But given ODM's history of shooting themselves in the foot, especially when it comes to making critical decisions, you remember during the when was there a rerun? Was it 2012 elections? 2013 elections. Orengo and company advised Baba not to run again after the Supreme Court declared the elections null and void. They advised Baba, though he was on the ballot paper, they advised him not to run. At every critical juncture where it mattered, Baba received the wrong advice from his lieutenants. And this is a particular case of how things could go wrong and will go wrong. Despite the fact that we know things might go wrong, they will actually go wrong. And I can tell you as we speak now, Oparanya has issues in court. And part of his property, the state has applied for them to be recovered from him. You remember they listed a number of properties that are owned by Oparanya that should go back to state, which he benefited allegedly unfairly as a result of being the governor. But look at Joho. When Jeremiah Kioni, Mwangi Wailia, and the rest of the Azimio team were imbibing tear gas on the roads, when they were being washed by water cannons, when our own Jeremiah Kioni was putting sufuria on his head, Joho was busy posing for photographs in the US. and the beauty, you should see the poses that he was making, motivational quotes, when the likes of Oparanya were facing court issues, were facing tear gas, were facing water cannons. Joho was busy taking photos, and Joho was busy issuing motivational quotes and telling them, guys, accept, you know, hii kitu imeenda, there's nothing we can do. Meanwhile, he was also towing the line, allegedly, because of his business interest. Now, look at it this way. Now, Joho has the resources to deploy. Oparanya's resources, as a result, I am not sure whether the cases are alleged or they're actually true. I cannot tell. But where Oparanya's leg is tied, Joho has a free rein, even in terms of resources. And that is why I say, looking from the outside, I am very hopeful, and my desire is that Joho actually goes ahead to become the party leader for ODM. I mean, it's a win for me. That, as an outsider, that is what I would envisage, anticipate, and that is what would be a win for me.
I mean, Eric this morning is not even struggling. He's not even struggling to. He's not even struggling to get his points round. He's a spectator, by the way. Yeah, somebody told me this morning that Eric today is gonna be like an Arsenal fan this weekend. Whichever way it goes, we're okay.
It's called there is something in chemistry they used to call spectator ions.
That's it.
They would just watch as the reaction goes on.
That's it. Here's what we need to open ourselves to then. Is Raila Amolo Odinga then making a mistake? Joyce, how is it that you and Ragalo know very well that Joho is not the right person for that particular position? But then you are not saying that, well, Raila Amolo Odinga made a mistake by actually coming out to declare that both of those gentlemen are right for the party.
Today in the morning, I'm feeling myself incredible to my brother. Eric's funny way of thinking. I don't mean to call it funny. But from where I'm coming from, if Baba, severally in the past, allow us to agree, severally in the past, Baba have made brothers, very sweet brothers, very many brothers. The likes of my brother Eric, either they go there, they don't tell Baba the gospel truth, they selectively tell him some truths, because come to think of it, why would a Kenyan, Joho, in his 40s, go to the US to celebrate?
Yes.
Where others are eating tear gas.
Yes.
And then Baba on one hand says that I'm supporting Joho. For 2 years, he had been absent. You know, if they were marking an attendance register, Joho would not have qualified even to be an ODM an ODM party member. He's an absentee.
Yes. Yes.
Whatever, you know, these are many.
Yes. Yes.
I want to think that if Baba continues making the same brothers,
yes,
I want to join Eric and say, Joho, I wish you well. Be the party leader. Be the party leader of ODM, because Wiper will beat you hearts down. Not Kenya Kwanza this time round. Wiper will beat you hearts down. But I don't see Baba going. It's only last week, Raija, that the AUC said, this time round, for the CEO of AUC, we need a ready. For all purposes, Baba is not a ready. So he complicates again the whole scenario. That on one side, he's fronting his busy campaigning for the CEO of AUC. On the other side, the resident members of AUC says this seat should go to Aredi. But that aside, Joho have been doing disservice to the ODM party. And it is the high time that members of ODM start smearing and kicking out the dissenting voices in the ODM. But 1 minute, Raija.
Yes.
We had severally in the past, Isaac Mwaura,
yes,
today the government spokesman. We had Mobingaru. We had others. The list is huge. they've left Baba alone. Baba, today you have Joho. Baba, today you have Junet Mohammed. Junet Mohammed was worse. He was in Kenya. Demos were held here. He was busy taking a cup of tea and some funny places. It's only Baba Owino who was there. In the list of Joho, among the persons supporting Joho, it's only Baba Owino who was in the street. The rest, John Badi, Kaidre, take a picture view of the persons who went for the demos. John Badi was never there.
Yes.
John Badi only came during the last trust. All these persons that you're fighting on the Joho side did not participate during the demos. Did not go to listen to Wajiko when Wajiko was screaming, we want the cost of living brought down by the Kenya Kwanza government, represented here by my able brother, Eric Mugai. It is only the side of Oparanya were there. The old man himself, Oburu was there. Oburu for all purposes is old. But yet, he ate tear gas. He was beaten with cannon gas, tear gas.
Yes.
And he succumbed. I mean, he waited for the process to go on. So today, this morning, ODM, represented fairly here by my brother Eric, the only guy from from the REC who participates in elective politics in the Mount Kenya. Eric, take this message to Baba. If you pick on Joho, I'll be on the side of Eric, celebrating, because my team will beat you hands down. Thank you.
That's up. Ragalo. And I want you to introduce the other conversation that is essentially tied to this, what we're talking about this morning, which all of a sudden now, Ragalo, there's a man who's been forgotten in this conversation, and I don't know whether he's not reading it right. It's Kalonzo Musyoka. He's not even come in to voice his concern about what is happening within their coalition, because ODM is a party within the Azimio coalition. Is it wrong that Raila Odinga has come out to let this play out? Why can't it declare and say that in the event that I leave, I so feel that either Joho or Oparanya, just one of them, is going to take up that mantle so that he gets the party ready? Because Ragala, you're from within the party and you're saying Joho is not the right man, but Raila Odinga, your party leader, is telling you that he has what it takes to lead the party.
Yeah, he has what it takes to lead the party. Everybody can become a dad, but not everyone can become a father. Those are two different languages. And that's why we call our Father in heaven. We don't call God our dad in heaven. Yeah. Being a dad is the easiest. Yeah. Being the father is the hardest. Oparanya right now is having court cases because Oparanya is seen as the actual heir of the seat. Yes. And they would want to taint him as much for him to look so bad that he cannot take over the seat. And I asked you last week, part one, on this set, Oparanya performed number one for 10 years. He actually never missed number one. He was number one governor for 10 years. Every year in a row for 10 years. He has court cases. There was number 47. That person is very clean. He didn't have one court case. I'm win. For you to be number last, then you should have made a lot of mistakes in management that some of them warrant court cases. Yes. But number one is being taken to court. Then number 47 would have been taken to hang. But this is Kenya for you. Joho never became number one in the governorship. He was not even number two, nor was he number 3. He was 001 as the numbering of the county. But he never took 001 for his numbering performance. So if you want to tell me that I give number 10 a position of number 1, yes, to me that is hogwash. It's just bullshit.
But your party leader is saying that
when we want, let me tell you, Luos are warriors. Mm-hmm. And majority of Luos are in ODM. Yes. Luyas are basically Luo brothers, are warriors. Look at the Kisis. They are warriors. And if you want to know they are warriors, yes, these are people whom you will not bring nyoko to. The things that they are doing in Mount Kenya right now, taxing them left, right, and center, taxing even what do you call this, a borehole. Bring it to Nyanza. So you bring it. You will mandaman on you until you realize, and it will be very easy. Baba will tell us, you msilipe. We will not pay. Where will you take us? We will not pay. This thing happening in Mount Kenya right now, ati kuna meetings ya kulipa nini, mara maziwa italipwa aje, mara hii italipwa nini. Did you hear Mount Kenya make noise the whole of last week? So bring it to Nyanza. Bring it to ODM zones. You see if that will happen. What I'm trying to tell you, the warrior in ODM party, the warriorism, we believe in things being done right, cannot allow us to give a coward our seat. If you didn't fight for us, do you know why Raila is always our party leader? Because we see him not as Baba, we see him as the warrior. And the guy who can take us to war and win a war.
Anybody looking at you, anybody listening to you this morning, Brother, would ask you the same question. I mean, you guys wanted him out.
And
then the two, Joho and Jeanette, immediately after the 2020 election.
We still want him out.
Yet, they are not out yet.
Yeah, they will be. Ukani, time takes time. Time takes time. It is 1 + 1. 1 minute plus 1 minute. Jeanette will win MP again. I don't know. It's for the people of Suna to decide.
But why you? Why you not making noise already when Baba stands in and says, "Well, Joho."
I am already saying. Am I not on national TV saying Joho cannot be my party leader? If he happens to be my party leader, now Oparanya is not there and Joho is the party leader.
Yes.
Then
Welcome to you.
Yes. I can never join RUTO. That is one thing. So I'd rather join my friend. I'd rather join Wajakoya.
Yes.
But I can never join. I was just telling Eric. Eric is that people. You are. So you know they already bestowed RUTO as their spiritual leader and their community leader.
Yes.
So RUTO basically is the head of the Kikuyu nation, both socially, politically.
It's Gachagua.
Me, I've never. No. It's RUTO. Gachagua himself says RUTO is the head. So I've never seen a community that sells its soul. So that means they want me to join them in selling souls. No. I'd rather remain loyal to my way of life, not the way they do it. So, to me, Joho, no. But Baba living are we sure? You know, we've already left Baba. He's living. So the thought of Baba is living is already everyone's mind. Remember, we are months to February.
Yeah.
February is when we will have elections.
Does it?
Remember, our sister Mohammed lost after 6 rounds of election. And the sellout of Mohammed was in East Africa. Okay? The only person who remained with him was Rwanda. East Africa dropped. And you see, East Africa was near. They even forgot we have East Africa community.
Yeah.
They voted against our own and voted out to another region. Okay? So Baba will Baba even reach there? Yes or no? Does he even want it? I don't know.
Is he failing? So, is he failing to say Oparanya then is the one that I'm going to mantle to? So
he may not say it.
So the party
he may not say it, but what is the feeling of the followers?
Yes.
I'm a follower to Oparanya, not to Joho.
Yes, but
the Gazette.
Look at those faces on the Daily Nation this morning. Are you sitting here comfortably saying, well, there's already a split within the party? The same people you're saying are not supposed to be in the party have already picked support, Ragalo.
Are we putting Babu Owino here because there was a picture of Babu Owino with Joho somewhere going around? I mean, are we putting Ledama because of that? I will not talk for John Mbadi because he flares cold and hot.
Yes.
I'll not talk for John Mbadi.
Yes.
But I mean, Oparanya and Joho, are we balancing these people really? Me, I'm even missing where we're putting Joho near Oparanya. Really? Really?
But listen to what your party leader is saying. You know, you keep
our party leader is saying these two people will lead
Does it?
Should I not be around? These two people.
Yes. They
Not one person.
No, they have what it takes.
They have what it as
Does
two
it?
people.
Should any of them take up that mantle? They have what it takes. That's what it means, regardless.
Any of them?
Yes.
But
Not any of them, but Oparanya.
From a coalition that fronted Maina Jenga as Minister for Interior, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
I don't remember hearing Maina Jenga was going to Minister for Interior, unless he tells me that he was seated with Raila fronting Maina Jenga for Interior Ministry. I don't remember. I don't see. If there were people that were fronted, I know who. Joho and Oparanya were fronted. But Maina Jenga, I don't remember. But even if Maina Jenga becomes a minister for internal security, is he not capable?
Eric, this is hate speech.
Is he not capable? Maina Jenga is as capable as Eric Ragalo being a health minister. And I want to...
Ragalo, just let me introduce the next subject. Mr. Mungai, let's cross over to what this essentially means. Do you feel that even as this debate for who's going to take up the mantle for ODM now has picked up speed, all of a sudden we've forgotten about the ambitions of one man in this entire conversation, one Kalonzo Musyoka, who in one way or another had a deal with Raila Odinga. And the deal, we do know what it is. Even the deal was broken up in the 2022 election. That's the post-NASA coalition, if you do remember. That, well, you're going to go in, we're going to support you. That once you come out, it's going to be me who's going to come next. That in the event that the leadership of the Azimio coalition changes, then the deal changes as well. And Kalonzo Musyoka hasn't come out to sort of put his voice in this conversation. In case he does, because it's within this coalition that is looking for the replacement for one Raila Odinga, how is he supposed to voice that particular concern? Okay.
I'll tell you something for a fact. The reason why Kalonzo is not yet president is because he himself does not want to be president. It is because he either does not believe he could be, or he benefits from running without actually getting the position. Remember, Kalonzo was part of CORD. He moved from CORD to NASA. How they NASA'd him. He went to Azimio. He Zimia'd when he was called for interviews to be the running mate. Now here is an opportunity for Kalonzo to be the flag bearer of Azimio. Now, even though it is pretended that he will be the flag bearer, it must not be forgotten that he still has to contend with other ambitious people who might want the mantle for themselves.
Yeah.
And this includes the running mate for Raila Odinga, Martha Karua. It also includes Munya, who for a long time has been fronted by Uhuru. And therefore, it is not as easy and as a walk in the park for Kalonzo as he might want it to be. But yesterday I listened to an interview that Kalonzo had with a local Kikuyu dialect media station. And I listened to it keenly. And one of the things Kalonzo said is that, of course, he is willing to take up the title of the leader of official opposition as envisaged in the NADCO report. Secondly, he said that moving forward, he feels it would be prudent for him to work with Mount Kenya. And specifically, he went ahead to say that, you know, Gema denotes the Gikuyu, Embu, Membu, Embu, and Akamba. Of course, when we in Mount Kenya pronounce Gema, and the acronyms, when we are figuring out what they mean, usually we drop the Akamba for association. But yesterday, Kalonzo sought to have that included as was previously. And he said, of course, we are his cousins or his in-laws or whatever that might be the case. And a question was put to him, so, do you envisage a scenario if say you want Kikuyus to be your allies in the ethnic formation, that then you would have your running mate as the current deputy president, or the deputy president could be the front runner,
Yes.
and you could be his deputy? Well, he said he hasn't worked with the deputy president before, doesn't know him very well, but there is a possibility. And he went ahead to say that actually an alliance between the Agikoyo or the Gema nation, yes, and Akamba, would actually be able to win a presidential election. And therefore, the math for Kalonzo is easy and is complicated. It is easy in the fact that when he is given the azimio mantle, you know, having the mantle is one thing, what to do with it is another. Because Raila has been the leader of azimio, he hasn't made it to the ultimate position, which is the presidency. Yes. What about Kalonzo, who all along it was expected that he would be a running mate to Raila Odinga in the last general election, and at the last minute they changed that. I believe that for Kalonzo to become president, one, he must understand what becoming the leader of Azimio might mean for him. And he has been told previously that, you know, inheriting, say, the Luo Nyanza voting block is not a walk in the park. He will have to sweat himself out. He will sweat himself out with the likes of Oparanya, who has also been fronted to lead ODM. So I think the work is cut out for Kalonzo in terms of what he needs to do. It is, I said, it is easy and it is complex. How he's able to craft alliances with other voting blocks will also be a determining factor. Now, yesterday when I listened to his interview again, he was blowing hot and cold, perhaps a characteristic of the man that we have always known. Because at one time he was really against government, but another time you could say he speaks as if he is now part of government. I think the NADCO report has opened a backdoor room for them to get into government. And therefore you can see a man who, even though has the potential to rise to the highest seat, keeps on prevaricating, keeps on shifting goalposts. You know, it's difficult to be a follower of Kalonzo because you don't know where he will take you.
Yes.
If Kalonzo was to be a man that takes a stand, that pushes his stand, that for lack of a better word grows some those things that people kick around the compound, I think he could make a good president. He could make, potentially he could be a good president. But as I said, it appears that the Azimio team have ingested a drug that makes them self-sabotage at the last minute.
What do you want Kalonzo to say now in this conversation for one Joho and Oparanya, knowing very well that that handshake was between him and Raila Odinga?
If I were Kalonzo right now, I would actually be praying that Joho gets the mantle. If I was Kalonzo, I would really vote for Joho. In fact, I would start campaigning for him from the coastal region all the way to Kambani, and moving over to Luo Nyanza.
Why? In 15 seconds we go back. You're going to come back and explain.
Yes, for the simple reason, you know, it is true you need strong candidates for them to be able to help you, but at the same time, you also need candidates like the alleged former proposed Minister for Lands or CS for Lands. You need them because you see, it's like there is a glass ceiling. You know, they are when you look at the candidate of Oparanya and the candidacy of Joho, any logical and strong person would go for Oparanya for obvious sake. But the question is, how does that augur for you in the 2027 general elections?
Yes.
Especially when powerful forces are for Oparanya, as opposed to the forces that would be gathered for Joho. So you need a weak candidate sometimes for you to be able to rise higher, and for him to be in your fold.
Pretty much. We're going to come and explain that. Once we come back, what Bragalo thinks on how Kalonzo Musyoka then should be sort of introducing himself to this particular conversation for succession politics within the ODM party. Also, once we come back, Bragalo is here as a medical practitioner. Is going to tell us exactly why they're going to strike again, as Kenyans are staring at a blunt times as from tomorrow, a nationwide strike of doctors across the country. Also, once we come back, ODM is also speaking about that NATCO report. Gerard Gay is speaking about it as well. Once we come back right here on The Morning Drift.
Kiangazi imedhiri sana katika area hii yetu ya Laikipia. Mara mingi sana katika Laikipia kuna wafugaji na kuna wakulima. Hakuna yule ambaye amesaidika, hata wakulima pia hawajasaidika na wafugaji pia hawajasaidika. Lakini kwa siku ya leo tunasema kwamba RUTO Foundation imetusaidia sana, kwa sababu inalisha jamii ambaye hawana nguvu ya kupata lishe mahali moja au nyingine.
Tumekuwa tunalala hoi. Ukweli kabisa. Mimi siamini. Hata mtu mwingine juzi tumeleta hapo usiku akuwa amesimia. Akuwa na siku 3 hajaumwa kitu. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru sana RUTO. Leo watoto wengi ameshiba.
Nashukuru Mungu kwa RUTO Foundation siku ya leo. Maana wamekuja at least manyumba 100 leo na 10 itaweza kunuka kitunguu jioni ya leo. Tulikuwa na njaa, si mchezo, ilikuwa na njaa, si ya ile ya kusema iko njaa.
Ya kwanza tumekuwa na watoto ambao wameshikwa na hata watu wazima na utapia mlo, na pia tukiangalia hii ni area ambayo imejaa watu ambao wana rely na mifugo, na mifugo mingi imeweza kuisha kwa sababu ya kiangazi, na tunashukuru sana the RUTO Foundation kwa msaada wao ambao wameweza. Asanteni sana.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the RUTO Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives. Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
So this is what makes sense to me as a business journalist. And we keep on saying that because we are live to the challenges and the prospects of our economy. Allow me then introduce the country manager for Business Partners International, Mr. Michael Mudengi, who's going to tell us exactly what he is doing in this particular space.
Business Partners International, we consider ourselves a risk financial. We are not a commercial bank, but we are a financial institution that is willing to take a little bit more risk than what a commercial bank would do.
Oof, that's it. right. Let's then take a look at our second part of our conversation, as I'm going to take the final sentiments from Joyce and Ragallo this morning as concerns where Kalonzo Musyoka now finds himself in this particular conversation. But even as we look forward to that, the NATCO report is back to us again, and ODM is saying it's not going to be omnibus. Now is when they're going about implementation. We'll be telling you what they're saying, but also Cherargei is speaking on it. Let's take a listen, come back and clear the sentiments on the ODM politics, and come back and talk about this particular one.
We will support, but we'll go through it, because Parliament is not a conveyor belt. We are not just there for the sake of there. We must look at that report.
Nandi County Senator Samson Cherargei has promised Kenyans that the National Assembly will take its time to scrutinize the NADCO report submitted to President William Ruto earlier this week.
Tutasoma kama bunge, tutafanya public participation na wasituharakishe. Niliona ndugu huyu aliyekuwa vice president akisema tuharakishe.
Speaking in Embu County, Cherargei dismissed opposition claims of rushing the report, mentioning that the affordable housing project was rushed without considering collection of public opinions.
Ni hawa wakati tuliharakisha affordable housing bill, wakasema hatukufanya public participation. Hii NADCO report lazima tufanye public participation, tuangalie mambo ya gender parity, tuangalie mambo ya World Development Fund.
Furthermore, Cherargei mentioned that when the report is reviewed in Parliament, they will follow strict rules to involve the public in addressing gender equality issues and allocation of funds for ward representatives.
Hii NADCO report lazima tufanye public participation, tuangalie mambo ya gender parity, tuangalie mambo ya World Development Fund kwa MCAs, na tufanye public participation mpaka hapa Embu waone hiyo report, ndio tupitishe, tuhakikishe tumeenda mbele.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
We're going to come back to it later on, because it's just an entire story that is developing behind it. Joyce, let me also get your final sentiments then on where Kalonzo Musyoka now finds himself in this conversation for ODM succession. What should he say now, knowing very well that he's counting on the support of one Raila Odinga for him to get the numbers, if at all his presidential bid, according to his party in 2027, is anything to go by?
On two occasions, Elijah, Baba himself have endorsed Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. When they want to celebrate the birthday of his elder brother, Senator Obolo, he said, and it was on a Sunday, that I love my brother Stephen.
Does it?
He's been with this family for a long time. He is faithful, he is loyal, and he's friendly. On the other side, when Baba want to deal with the leadership in ODM, I think 100% he supports Stephen. At times, Baba can be a Christian and tell the truth. On another occasion, he also said, he endorsed ikifika wakati huo, that's what he said, ikifika wakati huo, na tuseme ni Stephen, mimi nitamsupport.
That's it.
Stephen have been tested and tried severally. He started leadership in about in the 80s through a by-election in his constituency, went through, and he sat as a vice president in this Republic of Kenya during the reign of the late Daniel Moi. So this is a person who has a wide wealth of experience in terms of national politics. He's done mediation. We've seen him in Southern Sudan. We've seen him in other countries that needed his wise leadership. So in essence, he fits for that shoe. Bring it down home. In the past, there have been open dalliance between him and Oparanya. Behind the scene, I'm sure it's only Daily Nation did not want to write that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is on the side of Oparanya as the party leader.
Yes.
Because the eagles will always fly with the eagles. Eagles will never fly with the ducks or the doves. Does he has the mobilization factor? Yes. He joined Peter Munya during the relaunch of the PNU, the party membership drive. Does he blend well with other leaders? Yes, it has been seen. He's a member of the AIC church. You know, there are several accolades that we can bring down to the Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Does he get the regional support?
Yes.
Yes. Some enemies of development, like my brother Mugai, will say that he was born in Tharaka Nithi.
Me an enemy of development.
Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka have always been friendly with members of both the Lower East and the Upper Eastern.
No, sir.
I think he's trying to consolidate his house and put his house in order. It's only for the rights of a few members of the Kaba community.
Yes.
That do not support his bid. But of course, you know, it's expected that even in one household, the two brothers will not see an eye to eye, and it's okay. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka has a huge support across the old geographical regions. Go to the Coast Province, go to Nairobi, the former Nairobi Province, the former Coast Province, the former Eastern Province, and now the variance between him and Oparanya, he's bringing in slowly.
Yes.
He's bringing in slowly the Western Bloc. It's only the other day here that my brother Eric said that Oparanya and Boni Harware, as town member, the founding member of Kenya Kwanza government, had a cup of tea discussing how to deal with Barasa. Because Boni Harware will be the governor, yes, on an ODM ticket. Not a Kenya Kwanza ticket. You know, Eric should be taking these notes down. That soon, they are losing ground. Elijah, it is only last week. We saw one Bishop Magil Twajiro crying in the media. I'm happy that Mugai did not see that. You know, selectively, he switched on that channel. That Margaret Twajiro was crying.
Yeah. But she apologized again.
And she was crying and also did some cussing.
She took back, yeah.
She took back after a call was made, you know, and some security were with the drone.
And called the president.
Literally, Kenya Kwanza government is losing ground in the Mount Kenya region. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is also gaining ground on Mount Kenya region, where it's getting slippery for the Kenya Kwanza government. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is gaining ground. Let us go back 2 weeks ago. Presumptive income tax was abolished by the Kibaki government in 2003.
Yes, it's back.
I was a former employee of Kenya Revenue Authority. We dealt with it, away with it. The finance bill came in. That clause was not in Parliament when the bill was being read.
Yes.
When the bill was signed into law, another drama happened. Presumptive income tax was brought back. It literally means that any agricultural product that is being handled by a Kenyan, 5% tax will be levied. Members from Mount Kenya had not seen that clause.
They can't see.
Ragaro just told us that they do not need invoices, KRE invoices when they are buying fish. Persons from the pastoral community, when they are selling their cows at the masses, when they are selling their cows at Suswa Market on Wednesday, they don't need the items. The finance bill was designed and executed by Mugai and his brothers for the purposes of Mount Kenya.
Yes.
That is propaganda.
Say it loudly.
No.
Say it loudly.
I need to repeat.
That is propaganda.
The finance bill 2023 and 24.
How can you allow propaganda on national TV?
The finance bill 2023 and 24 was designed for members of Mount Kenya. Ask me why.
Yeah, why? And quote specific provisions that target Mount Kenya.
2027 to continue what is started, because it is very sweet.
Yes, Joyce.
Eric, allow me to.
Yeah, please proceed. Yes, I'm listening.
The MP for Gatanga and the MP for Maragua, Mureu, sorry.
Yes.
When they went, the officers from the DECO office went to his constituency to teach farmers on how now to operate and remit taxes. using the phone. It is *222#. When that lady stood up and told farmers, take out your mobile phones. If you do not have, if you're not on a smartphone, *222#. Then Wajikos there asked her, unasema nini? What are you saying? That you are supposed to pay 5% tax on avocados that you are selling.
Yeah.
And you know, in Mount Kenya, we have organized buying of products. The tea is bought, coffee is bought, tea is sold, coffee is sold, avocados are sold, and macadamia are sold on organized infrastructure. Eric here, they do not sell fish on any platform, organized platform. There's no circle for fish. There's no circle for even selling cows and goats. It's only in Mount Kenya that Joyce, we sell our milk
to the circle.
To the circle. We sell our potatoes to the circle. So we sell our coffee. So the Kenya Kwanza government found a cash cow through the Finance Bill 2023, and they sent Mogai to his village.
And Mogai is making
Mogai, make sure you do not read, you do not teach your Wajiko these particular crowds. Let them not see. Go and sing all the choirs that are good for Kenya Kwanza and let us push through. So when it went through, the rubber met the road.
They must.
What happened? They were kicked out of that market that day. And that is what is going to happen on year 2024.
But how will tax know?
Let me ask you.
No, how will we?
Hold your horses, my brother.
Yes.
That is what will happen in year 2024. That now, for any taxation purposes, members from Kenya, members from Mount Kenya are waiting for the officers from KRA.
Eric, I mean, sorry.
Yes. One minute.
Yes.
They are waiting for them so that they can tell them our MPs erred in terms of implementing this bill. Taxation should not be selective. It is for everybody. So selectively, when you go to Mount Kenya, in terms of taxes on agricultural products, and you eliminate and specifically do not deal with Eric, what he have said. When you go to Nyanza, Baba reads the act for them. And on that day, Baba did not read that act.
Yes.
So kwa members of Nyanza, Baba did not read that clause on taxation of agricultural goods. Let me bring this down. When you go to the Githurai market, you find these ladies who are cutting the skumawiti. These days, they are supposed to pay taxes on this issue that they are supposed to pay taxes on the cabbages that they are cutting. Why? Because the Kenya Kwanza government, through the finance bill, brought that issue. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, on 2 occasions, have dealt with that issue. And I've asked members of from Mount Kenya, Kaidri, kuna jambo ambalo lilifichwa. That is on taxes, on agriculture. That is, he's making threads. He's going to where Mount Kenya is failing. That was my message. So, literally, he is on the right track. He's getting, raspberry for I conclude.
Yes.
He's getting also new allowances.
Yes.
Initially, he did not have Oparanya on his desk. He did not have Peter Munyo on his desk. He did not have Wajako on his desk.
Even me.
Even my brother Agaro. The only person who is missing from his desk is my honorable brother Mugai. So literally, Kalonzo Musyoka has spread his arms open.
Yes.
Waiting and requesting people, including new RIs, like you, Elijah, join him so that you can purpose to join his
you join him and then you'll give me a right.
Yes,
you'll give me a right to respond.
Fully on that as well. Ragalo, just as you also want to expand on that, what should Kalonzo Musyoka say now within this succession battle in ODM?
Kalonzo Musyoka is a friend. The succession battle does not hurt him. Baba will still give us direction. He already gave us. Baba will give his word.
Yes.
So Baba's word does not matter what Joho says.
But that's the word.
Baba's word does not matter what Junet will shake.
That's the word that you're questioning.
So Baba will tell us, go to Kalonzo.
But
we will troop there.
He's already said it.
He's already. But that's what I'm telling you. If he's already said, then Eric One Leg is already in.
Just hold on. But his word is what you're questioning this morning.
What I can't do, I'm questioning I'm questioning, not that I'm refusing. Questioning is not refusing.
But questioning is refusing. No, but you're refusing, Joho. Hey, you're refusing, Joho, Rajalo.
Daddy, hapa haukufanya vizuri. Hapa sioni ikiwa fiti. That's questioning. But sijasema I will not do it. So
what if it's Joho?
Oparanya,
What if it's Joho?
To me,
yes.
Kalonzo is my presidential candidate. If Raila will not be. And Kalonzo is my presidential candidate when Baba says. But when Baba says we go to RUTO, Eric will not go there. That one I will question and I will refuse. I will not go there. Because what Mount Kenya is undergoing, I will not do that to my Kenyans.
True.
When Mount Kenya people were told to go to NADCO and argue, and they went to Sagana, the MPs were told, don't bring one man, one vote, 1 shilling. Actually, they were put candle. They were actually not even told. They were reprimanded. So right now, what they are going through is what they wanted. And I'm not remorseful of what they are going through. Let them go through it thoroughly and painfully. Because that cannot happen in other parts of the country. When Baba was talking of maisha imekuwa ngumu na hii tax bill inaenda kuumiza wa Kenya, they said Raila ni mugoroki. You know, Raila is always a madman when he's talking straight things. But when they are hurting, and then Raila becomes a good man. Musiabia Raila kuja tutete. Endeni muongee na Raila akiaite maandamano. So maandamano, Raila was meant for maandamano. And that maandamano, who dies? Otieno, Wekesa, Nafula, Bosire. Have you ever seen Kariuki die in maandamano?
So Kioni,
Jeremiah
Kioni,
I said die. I didn't say Sufuri on the head. How he did not die? Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard Nyokafi Kariuki in maandamano? Actually, Nyokafis and Kariuki do a press conference in Nairobi saying, na hii mtu inatuharibia biashara. Hii biashara ya maandamano kila siku nadhani hatuwezi kufanya hata biashara tuuzi kitu mchana inaisha. So that is Baba. So right now, that finance bill is making them richer. Thank God it is. Let them be richer. It is. So selective mentality of Mount Kenya is what is hurting them. That they think they are brighter than anybody in the country and they must think for everyone. That is the pride of the community that is brought by their leaders. So who brought this thing? Right now, the Mount Kenya people should ask their leader in parliament, Ishongwa. He's the guy who tabled that thing. Does parliament have lawyers? Yes. Did lawyers read for them? Because lawyers, we should ask lawyers, kikitu kinakaa namna gani? Hiki kikitu kuna kitu imefichwa hapa itaumiza. Then Ishongwa would have asked. So he decided to selectively see it's Raila doing things wrong. So he brought them dangling. So that dangle thing is hurting them. Let them hurt freely. Then some people are lying to Mount Kenya people, telling them, I'm going to talk to the president, and we are going to talk to the president to see how we can tackle this. This cannot be talked. This is a finance bill. It passed. You have to wait to July next year, if at all, there are going to be changes. And those changes, again, have to be affected by other changes. Because it's already a tax.
Yes.
So for you to remove a tax, you have then to pin it on something else. So what something will that be? I normally ask people, so unataka hii kitu itolewe, iwekwe wapi? So mnataka hii kitu 5% itolewe, ikitolewe iwekwe wapi? Tuwekewe kwa mafuta then tushare. Silitolewa kwa mafuta mkaekewa sasa mafuta imeteremuka hii lipeni. You know, sasa ile unatakia mwingine kufa, chunga shingo yako. Sasa ile unatakia mwingine kuumia, hepa kila kitu inaweza kukuumiza. I watched a movie called Predestination, where someone will see your death. So someone was told, you're going to die by being hit by a meteor from above. That guy made everything sponge in the house, and even made sure the door was sponged. Do you know when the guy left the house one day, a pigeon just decided to do some magic, and then something just hit him, and he died. So when you think that someone is going to die, ati baba tunapeleka baba Bondo, nyinyi ndio mnaendelea kwenda kwa shimo ya Bondo kutuliko.
Na wheelbarrow.
Na hiyo yenu. So they took baba to Bondo in 2007, They took Baba to Bondo 2013. Baba is still in Bondo 2022. Baba is in Bondo 2027. And I'm telling you, they will still take Baba to Bondo in 2030 something. And the more Baba goes to Bondo, is the more they hurt. So they need to be, and then tear gas, selective tear gases. When Mount Kenya people start making noise because of pombe, we saw some mandamano ya pombe. Did you see tear gas? Oh, Fobe inaua watoto wetu. Fobe. Did you see tear gas? When a doctor is complaining that his own colleagues are not getting, are not being given internship, you tear gas somebody who's asking for education, not money. What is internship, bro? Doctors go to 6 years for training. The 7th year is actually working for the country, day and night. Ushaona internship vile watu ufanya kazi, hakunanga hata kupumua, uko on call, uko mchana, uko usiku, maternity na kungojea, nini. So that person is requesting you, boss, 1 year nilimaliza shule, last year sijapewa internship, so nipe internship, unamtia gas. Na watu wakilia, Fobe inaua watoto wetu. Kwani Fobe watu wakikunywa Fobe wapote wakose macho, wanapelekagwa kwa nani? Kwa mchawi. So wanapelekwa kwa daktari mwenye unatia gas. Do you see selectiveness in this country?
Yes.
So we are going on strike, bro. And we are not only going on strike.
Yes.
We have other unions. And Kenya National Union of Nutritionists. We have Union of Laboratory Technologists. We have Union of Pharmaceutical Technologists. We have Kenya National Union of Nurses. Well, they have said they are coming to help. Then we have us a Union of Clinical Officers. This is going to be very sweet, bro. And sweeter.
I'm going to come to you on that, Ragalo, so that now we see exactly.
So mwache kutia gas madaktari bure. Mtu anaomba kusoma, unamtia gas ya na kama alikuwa anaomba kuongezwa mshahara.
On this particular issue, and I want you to also touch your battle for joy is also with this NATCO report issue now, and I'm going to put it for you into context now. You hear Gerard Gay saying, it's not going to be omnibus. We have to go the due process. We're changing the law. So the report has to come to you as well, public participation before we go back to Parliament and actually get to pass it. Because
which public participation, which was already done?
Which
one?
The same one.
You know, this guy needs to go to school. Which public participation?
Which was already done, isn't it?
We go to Parliament. Parliament is reading 1, reading 2, and then, so this guy is telling us it will come back again.
Now here's the thing. There's also another spanner in it. Opiyo Wandayi also wants the implementation of the Education Task Force report also stopped as well, because majority of those recommendations also appeared within the NATCO report, isn't it? He's saying, but that one is kind of stopped because majority of what we included in the NATCO report is also in it. So stop that, let's go implement the NATCO report, which now the feeling is that it should be implemented the way it is, Mungai, without amending any little comma or sentence, because they spent more than 60 days at the Bomas of Kenya and they came up with a comprehensive report. Let's please take a minute, if you can, and respond to Joyce, and then come and talk about this.
First, I agree with the sentiments raised, especially about doctors and the fact that they should not be tear gassed.
Yes. Especially
when it comes to matters, you know, pushing an agenda that helps Kenyans. But be that as it may, I want to put this into context, because in my opinion, it is only a witch or a person who engages in witchcraft who continually wishes upon others ill will and the bad things to happen to them.
Like you people.
And why is this? Why is
you
this?
wish Baba everything.
Why is this? It's because when someone says that, you know, Mount Kenya should suffer,
yes,
because you voted in President William RUTO.
No, I said MPs
and the deputy president. And when someone says we should suffer because the Finance Act was passed, which in essence seeks to tax agricultural produce that goes into the market, then I think that is a person who engages in something worse than witchcraft, so to speak. And why is this so? I'll explain. Number one, it should be unthinkable that Ragalo should be happy because the fish that is produced in Lake Victoria is not taxed. Why? Because that tells you that the people engaging in that activity are not captured in the statistics and mapping of the country. Now remember, because you know people keep forgetting and it is easier to lie to Kenyans. There are two levels to the budget making process. There is what Ndindi Nyoro does, and there is what Kuria does, the Molo MP. Now Kuria looks for the money, Ndindi Nyoro spends the money, so to speak. Okay? Now, when you have a fishing industry that is essentially outside the taxable bracket, it means you're losing very crucial data that can be able to grow that industry. Why so? I'll explain. Yearly in this country, and I speak to that because it's very unfortunate when a leader coming from that region is happy when they are not paying tax, knowing very well that the same people, when they were in the handshake government, went borrowing right, left, and center, and the money has to be repaid. The money has to be repaid. Money must come from somewhere, and money must come from people's pockets. It is very unfair that you tax the few civil servants, tax the few people who are employed, and leave out a majority of the Kenyan population from taxable bracket, which has been, by the way, affirmed by the High Court when it annulled the finance sections of the Finance Act when it came to taxation. And they said it was unfair because you're taxing only a section of the population and leaving out a majority of the population. Now, if you look at the avocado, what is infamously now being referred to as the avocado tax, I can tell you for a fact, tea farmers have been paying tax. True or false?
True.
Coffee farmers have been paying tax. True or false?
True.
Now, if you look at those two commodities, they are commodities for export. Because a majority of the coffee that is grown in this country is not consumed locally. Okay? And therefore, even this avocado is a product that is meant for export.
Yes.
Now, when a person is happy when their community harvests fish from the lake and they cannot export the produce and therefore not in the bracket, it tells you there is a bigger problem with that community. Because Ragalo, the fish that your people get from the lake, they would get more value from that fish if they exported it, as opposed to yearly in and yearly out, importing the fish from China. But why do we keep importing fish from China right,
why
left,
do we
and
import
center?
sugar? Why do we import sugar? Why
No,
is the sugar?
exactly my point. And that is why I'm saying, when the Kenya Kwanza government seeks to right the wrongs historically that have been done to the communities, then how come you come here and complain? Because remember, what you're lying, you're lying to Kenyans, you're lying to Kenyans that it is only Mount Kenya that is being taxed. My friend, when the government takes billions of shillings and goes to bail out sugarcane farmers, our own tax money that has been taken and goes out to bail farmers.
Even us, when we are not taxed.
Exactly my point.
So,
and
but
what we are saying,
you people lied to your people, let them pay tax.
No. Everyone must pay tax. And look, there is a time to be popular.
Elijah, give me one second. It is this time, but I'm borrowing one millisecond. When voting came, some of us left the voting. Do you know why we left the parliament? Because we already knew this thing is hinged on them. So we left them to hang their people.
No.
When our people did vote, we left them to hang their people. And they hanged their people.
Yes, Mungai, could you complete your submission?
Let me complete. The lie is in cheating people that the agricultural tax, this 5% withholding tax, is only premised on the Mount Kenya farmer.
Yes.
No, that is not the correct position. Because when you read the act, there is nowhere where it says that in the 10 counties of Mount Kenya, this is where we shall only apply tax. That is a misnomer, and that is a lie, I would say, from the devil, but I am cognizant of the fact that it is Ragalo who is here, and therefore I'll not go to that, to that direction. Now, there is a question that you had asked me. Please, I got so carried away because he was lying.
It's on the implementation of the NATCO report, that implemented the way it is.
Okay.
There are fears also within Azimio that there's the people within parliament that want to delay the implementation of that report.
You know, this is also the challenge of not reading reports. And let me explain it. So the NADCO report has several recommendations. Now, part of the recommendations of the NADCO report is the introduction of certain bills to Parliament. Okay?
Yes.
There are bills that need to be introduced to Parliament for the implementation of the report. So the report will be adopted, but the report in itself clarifies that I think there are 9 bills that need to go.
It's actually 9 bills.
It's 9 bills that need to go to the floor of the House. Some in the National Assembly, some to the Senate because they involve counties. Now, what is the process of making laws? The process of making laws is that there must, and it's a constitutional tenet. It's not Mungai's wish. It is not Ragalo's wish. It is a constitutional requirement that when a bill goes through the National Assembly or through the Senate, there must be public participation. So when these bills are subjected to the first reading or to the second reading, there must be more input from Kenyans on how, otherwise you risk passing the bills and then someone will go to court and say that there was no public participation. Therefore, public participation, you see, I don't get it. It's like, who is the public?
Who is the public?
Who is the public? The public is the ordinary Wanjiko, are the stakeholders that will be involved in the bills that will go to the floor of the House. Those are the people to be engaged in public participation. So I don't get it why Azimio, or not even Azimio, who is actually opposing it?
No, as
we are saying, if you look at what the problem is, what Cheragay is saying, it must, some of the clauses of the NADCO must undergo public participation, which is correct. You see, the bills, the 9 bills that are part of the, you see, you must remember, the NADCO report says that those bills need to be there. And I am telling you, the process of making the law has to go through public participation. That is in essence what I'm saying.
Well, this is the thinking behind it, and I'll be crossing over to you just right now. Just take 45 seconds to respond to this, and I'll be reading to you that in a constitution which has no framework for what we call public participation or thresholds, that what happened at the Bomas of Kenya can be considered public participation, that the proposals came from the public. That's what majority of the leaders are holding within the Azimio coalition, that that was public participation, that the public was called to give in the views on this particular bill. So pass it the way it is.
Let me frame it in another way. So Kenyans went and presented their views to the NADCO team. And they said, we would need a bill, you see that's their proposal, we would need a bill that entrenches the office of the official opposition leader. That is public participation. Kenyans have said, we want a bill in Parliament. That's public participation. Now, the bill in Parliament has been crafted, okay, based on the recommendations from the public, remember? So the bill has been crafted. But for this bill now, legally, it needs to also have public participation. So yes, we accept that Kenyans say this is what they need. Now, this is what we have drafted. You go back to the public and ask them, is this how you envisaged the bill to be? And Kenyans will tell you, no, the way you have crafted it is not the way we wanted it.
That the crafting was already done in the proposals.
No, you see,
adopted.
No. Kenyans, what Kenyans said is that, I'm just using that as an example, that we need the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. That is what Kenyans said, which is okay and it is granted. That was public participation. But then, for this office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary to come into existence, there needs to be a bill that must be debated on the floor of the House. Now, the fear, and I get the fear from Azimio, is that the original thinking might be altered in the public participation space. And that is a valid concern. But also, you risk losing that. What would it cost Kenyans to accept to go through the public participation process and the court validates that and everyone is happy, as opposed to rushing the process and someone goes to court and says there was no public participation, annulling the process, then we'll have lost time and resources.
Just, I'm going to read for you a statement here that a story that we did on our website on www.lookuptv.co.ke. That, now listen, the National Assembly adopted the report on February 24th, 2024, and as Emil said, 9 bills have already been introduced in the House to facilitate its implementation. Now, Mungai,
excuse me.
Sorry? Oh, I thought you had moved on.
No. That 9 bills had been introduced to the House to facilitate its implementation. That already adopted the report. Good. And they said that the position remains that the NATCO report must be implemented as is, all right, aimed at facilitating its passage fast-tracked. That's what they're saying, all right? Now, Joyce.
Yes. How is that different from what I have said?
That's it. Like, here's the thing.
That's exactly what I have said.
What they've done is that we went through the process of seeking views and proposals from Kenyan citizens.
Yes, that's true.
Everything that has been included in that report essentially encompasses what Kenyans wanted done.
Which is correct.
So bills have been crafted that are essentially encompassing what Kenyans essentially wanted to allow the implementation of that report.
You want Parliament to break the law.
Just hold on. That the bill has the bills as is, the 9 bills, essentially have been crafted based on what Kenyans say to allow the implementation of this report that's already been adopted.
So we should break the law for convenience.
That's it. So here's the thing. Is somebody somewhere saying, let's delay the implementation of this thing?
Azimio team is full of voice men.
Yes.
Are you saying the reverse is true?
Yes. Yes. If you are wise, you could have read the finance bill. They didn't read.
Full of voice men who read the document, and we have good scholars in that Azimio team who read and understood literally what you said. What we want to eliminate is the wastage of time, Elijah, and wastage of resources. Since on 23rd of February, the 9 bills were adopted. Then why are you going back to redefine the same? Kenya Kwanza government, what it wants literally, it is to delay the implementation. Kenya Kwanza government is known of not taking issues seriously. If the bills have been adopted, why don't you go ahead and facilitate, and adapt them, so that you can create frameworks against for implementing these bills? It is also another wastage of resources. Kenya Kwanza government is known of wasting resources. They want to take us again back to the 47 counties, minimum 24 counties, discussing again the same thing that was discussed again. So in essence, when the wise men sit and say, let us not involve public participation,
let us break the law.
They are wise enough.
Let us break the law.
Yes.
This word of public participation to the Honorable Senator is an abuse of process. Why? When members of public present a presentation now to the members of parliament, whatever you say will not be factored. They only adapt it as a process that members of public came, they were given mics, they said the following, but what they said will not be implemented. So when the members of Azimio found that Kenya Kwanza want to hijack this process, they comes here on board and say, let this process be taken as it is. Adapt the process, adapt the 9 bills, create frameworks against implementing the 9 bills. But this issue of wastage of resources, wastage of time, IEBC, 2 years down the line, Elijah, we do not have MCAs in office. We do not have MPs in office. Why? IBC have not been constituted. So the wise men in Azimio says, implement this bill as it is so that we can have these seats taken care of. Why do we have a lot of votaries in Kenya? This is courtesy of Kenya Kwanza government. Why? SRS 2003. We still have some Kenyans who applied for their passport, for the IDs and passports. 1 year down the line, those IDs have not been processed. Kenya Kwanza is known of dilly-dallying, jumping, refusing to deal with the processes.
Yes,
so when,
there is no
one
money.
minute, Elijah. So
Yes.
when the wise man sits down and says,
exactly.
when the wise man
agrees.
when the wise man says, implement the process as it is, because we know you Kenya Kwanza government are selective on what you want to do. On the 9 bills, Elijah, it will come to this notice of this sitting today that they only implement a few of the bills.
Yes.
The rest, they will say, wacha wajiko kwanza iogerere. That is why the wise men are saying, implement the 9 bills as they are, full stop.
That's it. Bragalo, here's the thing. I mean, I'm going to open you up to the process again. There's something that you didn't catch, but because I wanted Bragalo to also weigh in on it, that's where I am. That, look here, we know the lawmaking process. Well, a bill will be introduced in the National House, then it's debated, and then
They
goes
have
back
already
to
been introduced.
that's it, public participation, all right? And then after that, that's when we ascend it into law. But here's the thing now. Remember the very first time that we started this process, that's where the questions are starting from, that we went back to the National House, and then we say that everything that comes out of that NATCO committee will be entrenched in law. So essentially, what we were doing, the interpretation of that is that what we were doing is coming up with a bill.
A bill. Which
Yes.
you cannot
We're coming up
interrupt.
with a bill.
A bill. It is a bill.
That's it. So in the making of this bill,
You cannot
we called
change
for
even
public
wording.
participation, where that NATCO committee said, we are then going to call for various stakeholder groups in the country. Any other Kenyan who wants to represent their views on this particular bill, please come over so that we make it a public participation bill. In fact, there were days that were essentially meant for public submissions. So now, why then are we going back to the National House and saying, well, send it back again?
I fear for my country.
Is it okay?
I fear for my country.
That's it. Is
When
it?
I
If
was-
this is wisdom.
I was a member of creating BBI.
Yes.
I went around with BBI, and I gave my opinions in BBI, like now Eric, not like a member of that committee. And all the public participations were done per counties. BBI was very open.
Yes.
It was a loud noise in every center. And we did in Kiambu, went to Kist, and we gave our opinion.
Yes.
Actually, I was seated next to Kuria and others. Even Gitu Kahengeri gave his own opinion. I'll give you people who are there. And after BBI came out, we came out with a bill. It was a bill. Because what does that happen? When the government was giving us a finance bill, we had a very big public participation. People are saying, we want you not to go to 16%, to maintain at 8%. And we gave our opinion. But when the bill came out, it came out differently. Of course, the great thinkers, wisdom people in ODM and my team made noise. Hey, where is 8%?
Yes.
We were told, hold your horses. Tunataka kuwatengenezea vitu muliiba wakati wa handshake government, as if there was handshake government. It's as if RUTO was somewhere else. So, okay, they had their way. When that document came to Parliament, I sat here on set and said there were 4 items that were added that were not in the bill. No, Eric listened to my clip of that time. I said there were 4 items, if you remember, that were added that were not in the initial bill.
Mm-hmm.
And actually were added during the presidential assent. And I said, why? Of course, nobody listens. The wise men are never heard. And it passed. That is what's eating them.
Yes.
I said here, go to that clip. I said it here. I'll retrieve it and send it to you. I said there are 4 items that were added. Of course, they can't hear because they are not supposed to hear.
Yes.
Right now, what is eating them now is that these 9 items, one of them talks about a prime minister. It's definite a prime minister come from an opposite side if the government side makes the team. Yes. So it doesn't matter who becomes a prime minister. It doesn't matter who becomes a president, but there will be a prime minister. Okay, let's say RUTO, and I wish RUTO goes again, because I said what he started should continue for another 5 years, so that we'll have a head in 2027, 2032, which we don't have. So we'll have a prime minister from the opposite side. Who will be the prime minister? And then we have chief cabinet secretary. Who will be the chief cabinet secretary? The prime minister could be Baba. So when people are saying Baba is gone, where? Where is Bondo? I don't know. Mount Kenya people should tell me where Bondo is. They know Bondo is somewhere near here in Karen.
When we said Bondo, we meant Ethiopia.
So now, they're looking at items that are going to affect, and these items that are going to affect, is going to hurt them thoroughly, and it's going to hurt the division of leadership in this country.
Yes,
it's going to introduce other seats that will run away with the powers and privileges of things they do.
Yes.
Who would want Ishongwa not to be making noise, and the way he makes noise and goes in Kabete and just causes tantrum? He will have a match, and that is what they don't want, and that's why they are misusing Cherargei. There was public participation. There can never be two. There can never be two. How many bills are passed through public participation? Almost all. There is no time, and I don't remember, where a bill starts to be read, then gets out, goes around for 5 months, then come back. Usually public participation in Kenya, we say, let's do it fast, so that when it goes there, we ease in the time.
Yes.
We can create a bill in 14 days, in 1 week. They did a bill in 72 hours. They did a bill in how many hours? Actually, it was not 72, it's a lot. It was read in the morning, in the afternoon it was already done, and Ishungwa was very happy.
8 hours.
8 hours. Ishungwa was very happy. Tumepitisha. The other time, the Azimio people were talking in the other side, wakisema, tupange. Weta and where the president is saying, President, hiyo kitu inakuja, tunapitisha. So Weta already knew what they wanted, plus the team. So they did it. And when they do it like this, Mount Kenya is happy. Kimodo, and it hurts them. So what I'm saying basically is that they are misusing these guys. Now, the way they are misusing these guys is going to hurt their MP. The MPs in Mount Kenya may not come back. Can you see? In the whole of Nyanza region, Luo Nyanza, it's only one MP who didn't come back from Kisumu town. All the other MPs went back a second term. All, the way there are many. Why? We don't have a problem with them. The MP who only passed ile kupitia kidogo ni Atandi wa Lego Usonga. Alipita lakini alikuwa anaanguka. All the others went back. The avalanche of failure that you will find in Mount Kenya is doing push-ups because they were lied to. And the lie started from the top. Because that time, Ndindi Nyoro was handling Raila. The deputy was handling Raila.
Yes.
The problem was Raila. Now go tell Mount Kenya the problem is Raila. Of course they know the problem is Raila. Not that they don't know. They know even them. Hata ule ana push cut. Anajua problem ya Kenya ni Raila. Then ask him, what has Raila done to you? Hananga swali na answer. Hananga. Lakini aliambiwa na Ndende Nyoro ni Raila. Aliambiwa na Ishungwa shida yetu yote ni Raila. Aliambiwa na deputy president yote shida yetu ni Raila. Right now I'm asking a question. Since Raila reads for us, and Raila has never read ikaenda wrong. Mi nasemanga baba amenisoma, hiyo iko sawa. Ishungwa, Ndende Nyoro and the deputy read for them. Why is it bad then? Why is the deputy saying ati anaenda kuongea na president ati watengeneze hii kitu? Si aliwasomea?
Aliwasomea.
Na kwani aliwasomea akasoma kizungu vibaya? The question here is, reality is, anything we do with the fear of Baba. And actually, any move that Mount Kenya take, they take it when Baba has pronounced himself. Baba akisema hii kitu ni mzuri, Mount Kenya will say, hii tunapinga. Baba akisema hii kitu ni mbaya, Mount Kenya wasema, hii kitu tunapitisha. They always go against Baba, even when Baba means well. And he has always meant well. The same Mount Kenya people said, wana support constitution na wakaangusha ile ya BBI cause Baba ana support. Sasa one man one shilling iko wapi? Walipoteza. Waumie bwana.
Yes.
Baba akisupport ile ingine, watu wa makanisa wakashika akina Kenya Karaoke na RUTO wakasema ati inaenda kuleta homosexuality. Ati Baba wanaleta homosexuality. Hii kitu hawakusaini juzi hapa tupate pesa. So let me ask you, anything Baba pronounces himself is usually wrong to others, but sahi hakuna shida. Nowadays kwa Facebook hii simu naona hata Wakenya wanaongea Kiswahili wakisema mimi naitwa nani, girlfriend yangu ni nani, na tunaishi kwa nyumba moja. Obscenity of the highest order.
That's it.
But sasa hiyo yote tulikuwa tunaleta sisi wakati tulikuwa tunapitisha constitution. Wao watu wa kanisa walikuwa very bright wanaipinga. Lakini sasa nani alisign by the Uhuru alisign?
You're making life uncomfortable for my brother Mungai.
Mungai, you started very well. I wonder why you've gone this silent. Yes. I'm going to give you a right of response. That
amwambia panguza miwani.
That at the end of the day, there's somebody said it somewhere saying, well, we just had to get it to the National House. Then once we get to the National House, we have the numbers, we have the right of decision. If we want to delay it, we're going to delay it. Let me bring you up to speed that on other issues that essentially need to be passed, they've already started debating, and they're rushing against time to pass the IEBC bill to make sure that everything is done and dusted. That one, they've decided not to take into public participation.
Yeah,
important for you to know. Important for you to know that on this one for IEBC, they've not essentially decided to take it back to public participation, because as it is today again, the IEBC issue is going to be heavily discussed as they are rushing against time then to make quorum for IEBC. Good. But why do the rest of them have to go back if this one, which was also
where have you gotten the information?
It's actually in the order paper today.
It's in the order paper.
You see,
yes,
there's something we are not understanding here.
Yes.
Being in the order paper does not negate the process of public participation.
Yes.
Remember, public participation can also be done through submission of memoranda.
That's it.
Because I imagine when Ragalo hears public participation,
yes,
he's seeing people going to Nyanza to collect views, to Eastern, to Western, and wherever. I can almost see how him and Joyce are seeing the process. But people can actually submit memoranda that will form part of stakeholder engagement. But I find something very curious. Many times when we've been on this set with Ragalo and Joyce, they have said that Parliament is a rubber stamp, is a conveyor belt for things that the Kenya Kwanza government wants.
Yes.
And that they do not have a brain of their own in terms of execution of issues. Today, what I am hearing is different. That actually now, it actually needs to be a conveyor belt. They should not follow the law. They should just stamp because it has come to them. Isn't that double standards?
Yes, but they're saying that...
Isn't that double standards? No, I am saying...
Yes.
If we critique them for being conveyors,
yes,
and this time they are saying, okay, we will not be conveyors, we will actually do what we are supposed to do.
Yes.
Then shouldn't we be celebrating that as a hallmark of democracy, that a parliament that we have so much accused of slumber, of being a conveyor, of lacking the wherewithal to deliver on bills without going through them and thinking through them, that they have made a decision now to actually subject them to an actual legal process. Shouldn't we then be happy? So why the double standards of saying this today and saying this tomorrow? Why the flip-flopping?
That on this particular
you know
one,
why? Let me answer him. Let me answer him kindly.
Yes.
You know why? When something has come from the public participation to the House has no prerogative than passing it. Reason, it has come from the people.
That's it.
Now, Article 1.
That's where the quorum is. That's where the quorum is.
Follow the line.
Let me just finish. It is your time. I'm just adding. If it has a thought from within Parliament, then they ask the relevant bodies that affect to give the opinion. If it is a bill from Pyrethrum, for example, they'll ask the Pyrethrum board, the farmers boards, the SACCO boards, something like that, to give the opinion. You understand? But it is a bill from the people. People have gone around, collected their thoughts. That bill you cannot change. It is a bill. That's why finance bill you could not change. You could not change BBI. That's why they made noise, because it was already from the people. So you cannot change the power.
I don't have a problem following that line of thought. Just 2 minutes, yes.
It is okay if it has come from the people. Then according to Ragalo's argument, it should not be subjected to public participation.
It is already public participation.
Now, I don't know why then we complain. The finance bill came from the people. Why then did it have to be subjected to, again, public participation? We've had things like the Health Act, which came from the people. Why then did we subject it to public participation? In essence, what I am saying is, what is good for the goose must also be good for the gander. We cannot purport that for one process must be subjected to one thing and another process must be subjected to other rules. The rules must conform. That if we agree that Parliament is a conveyor belt, let it be a conveyor belt for everything. If we agree that it is an independent institution that needs to subject things to its own laws and procedures, then it must be the same for everyone. So what I am submitting is, I do not agree or disagree as to whether public participation should go ahead. What I am saying is that the law must be followed to the letter, and the due process must be followed.
For the sake of this particular conversation, Mr. Mungai, at a time when we are even asking the Constitution to be well defined on what public participation is, and for us to achieve a threshold in public participation, what would you call that process at the Bomas of Kenya that gave us these bills that we're talking about?
You see, there are various ways you can introduce a bill to Parliament. Okay? Any member of the public can do so.
Yes.
It's allowed. A private member's bill, any member of Parliament can submit a bill to Parliament. Government, through their own institutions, including parastatos, can also submit a bill to the Kenyan Parliament. So anyone from those three is allowed to introduce a bill. Now, when a bill goes into Parliament, it is subjected to a process, which includes the first reading, the second reading, all the way to the plenary, and all the way to taking a vote. In the process of taking that bill through readings, a bill will be subjected to public participation. For instance, if KRA introduce a bill to Parliament, that bill might touch on other sectors, including what Joyce was saying of farmers. So the farmers have a right to submit their proposals regarding the same bill. Now, when a member of the public proposes a bill, it is also incumbent upon the National Assembly to take views from relevant stakeholders who might be affected by that bill. Okay? Therefore, it does not mean that when a bill comes from the public, that it will not be subjected to public participation again from different stakeholders, to come and give their input. So I want us to understand, I am not against Parliament passing. I am saying the law should be followed as it is written, and the law must be subjected to all.
Pretty much. Guess what? We have 2 minutes. I would like us to move away from the NATCO report issues to an issue that I wanted you to just give your, please, if you can, 45 seconds on it, because I want to throw it to Ragalo and Mungai as well. Doctors are going on strike, and they're going on strike based on one issue. They need 142 billion from the government so that medical interns who've worked as interns for a very long time in this country and who form 30% of the healthcare workforce in the country get some compensation of some form. And they've said, we are not going to stop as from tomorrow until we get a solution. Their talks failed last week as well with the Health CS. Health CS is saying there is no money. There is now a conundrum. Which way?
But there's money to build houses.
Which way? 45 seconds, Joyce.
It is pathetic that even the bare basics of human rights, the Kenya Kwanza government will not have regard whatsoever on those basics, including the health care. It's quite embarrassing that 2 weeks back we found one senior doctor being tear gassed and his head being aimed at by a senior police officer with a tear gas canister. whatever the intentions were, it's immaterial. But for now, the government has funds literally, has money literally. KRA is collecting taxes every day. So 150 billion, to me, it's a drop of water in the sea. It is all about having the priorities right. Kenya Council government do not have its priorities right. The issues of education, we've said it on this setting severally. The issues of health have not been dealt with. It is the right time that today the doctors tomorrow execute that strike. Then the next following week, let the teachers also deal with this issue, because Kenya Kwanza government need to be pushed, because there is money. There's a lot of money.
Yes.
It's only there is no commitment and no goodwill.
Pretty much. Ragalo, 45 seconds. 142 billion at a time when the government is saying we do not have that money at all.
Brother,
yes.
The government has money to build houses. And they have money to tell 5 or rather 4 estates in Nairobi to vacate because they want to build houses. Go to Mbotela and these are the estate in Eastland, just after City Stadium. Are they not vacating? They have money to build houses. So those were not houses. They have money to add seats in the government. Mudavadi's seat and others. They have money to have 2 government spokesmen. One in Mohammed, who is a government spokesman for State House, and Mwaura, government spokesman for whatever. So they have money to misuse, but they don't have money to do it right. How do you have 3,000 students, I call them students, who have finished university and they need to go for internship, and you're not giving them internship? So you're derailing their employment for years. Someone is in their mother's and father's house waiting for an intern. You can never be a doctor without having an internship. So you're derailing their employment. These people are asking you, give us internship. Is that too much? No. Is that too much? No. And that's why we are even happy the other organizations are coming in to assist in the strike.
Yes.
So if you cannot assist a doctor to go and study to come and treat their people, then you have money to build a house for people who are sick, dying. What are you doing? Then, 1 second.
Yes.
Edu-Afya was removed. Why? We have kids in secondary school and primary who have rheumatic heart diseases. They have sickle cell diseases. They have chronic anemias. They have, in Nyanza, we have this disease we call sickle cell. Yes, I'm repeating, sorry. Sickle cell. These kids need therapy in a hospital all the time. They have kids who even have cancers. They're in school, but they go for treatment. When you remove Edu-Afya, what have you left their parent with? Can they afford bone marrow transplant? No. Can they afford management in a hospital? A kid who need 3. There are people who have a kidney problem, glomerular something, who need hospitalization. I have a kid who comes to a certain hospital, I will not say which one, who has last year alikuja mara 3. Umemtolea hiyo kitu. Are you not killing them? You removed it. Yes. To do what with it? So that was proliferage of money? So to get money to build houses? Then kids who are chronically sick will die, and you want us to be happy? And that's what I'm saying. See, there are people there who read bills. They are from Mount Kenya. Tell them read.
Pretty much. Please, 15 seconds if you can. Should they go on strike? Should they not? Tomorrow.
I hope the issue is solved amicably, because the reality is that health affects all of us. And I pray that money will be found. And not just praying, I hope and in whichever manner we can agitate for that money to be found for interns.
Yes.
I think it's important that we do so.
Pretty much. Guess what? Take them back online and Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. We're going to see. Because if nothing happens between now and 4 p.m. today, then that threat is going to be real. You're going to walk into a public hospital tomorrow, you'll be told, we can't offer you services until after they've sat down and come up with an agreement. Guess what? Online and Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. Joyce, Erics, thank you very much for always making Monday a success right here on Lookuptv. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Guess what? Goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow for another section as well.